I immediately am thinking,
Why they ask
what
me
are the business benefits of them asking me that? Is there peri-peri chicken at the networking event? No. So, could use a better phrase, but I'm not educated enough. We shit on.
We're just a couple of business anchors. Welcome to the Business Anchors podcast. This jingle is slightly too long. Welcome to part 2. You enjoyed that conversation so much and you're excited to get your face on for episode 13. So you've joined us, so thanks guys.
I really didn't get what you were talking about then. But you're talking about the review thing. If people do a review, they get their face. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. That's people be thinking, oh my God, I'm so into this that I'm going to get my face on.
Such an opportunity.
Yeah. So as I said, if you just finished listening to that, guys, we're going to be talking about the kind of how education, traditional education or non-traditional education, feeds into
The
running a business
world.
and also like as you know, not as children, as adults, learning within your business and stuff, and we're going to look, because we've failed at this a lot of time, and we've found some great ways of learning stuff. So we're going to talk about some of our experiences and any tips we have, and try and work this out with you, because
we just make it up as we go along.
Yeah.
So, how have you learned? Like, you didn't remember when you were at school and you could choose between business and drama, and you chose drama.
Yeah.
You haven't learned anything about business, have you? From an outsider's
Not in
perspective,
school.
how are you running a successful business when you haven't learned anything traditionally?
Just hugely talented. No, that is a good question, and I think I've always been, so where in school and things I didn't get great grades because I didn't convert my thoughts into work on paper.
Yeah.
I just didn't. But I've always been a hugely observant and kind of analytical thinker. So everything that goes around me in the world, I'm constantly thinking, oh, how does that work? I wonder what. And so it's been the same through my life. And to be honest, I've only realised this on reflection over like the last probably 5 years of my life. But if I go and buy a coffee in Starbucks and there's do you want to try our new blend? And there's that question. I immediately am thinking,
Why they ask
what
me
are the
that?
business benefits of them asking me that? How does that affect their business? How does that affect the customer? And kind of I analyse what's behind that business decision and that kind of thing. And I think that's really helped me, because over the years my brain just naturally does that.
Isn't that really rubbish though, when you just want to chill and get a coffee? You're like, why did she say it like that? Why did she?
Do you know what? Sarah said this to me because her friend thinks in the same way I do, and her husband and my wife Sarah was saying exactly the same thing. Saying, do you not just want to like not think about stuff sometimes? And me and Amanda were both saying, our brain just doesn't do that.
My mate Leandro, who listens to the podcast, you know Leandro, we had a chat the other day, and he is exactly like that. And anything that's going on, you don't realise it because he looks chilled and stuff, but he's constantly thinking, why did they say that? Why are they acting like that? Why did they move in that way? Yeah. And I just said to him, mate, that sounds so tiring. That sounds so rubbish, but good in a way, because it probably makes you a more rounded person, because you're getting.
It's positive for learning. Like, you're constantly learning because you're constantly analysing stuff and thinking, why has that happened? But yeah, I sometimes say to Sarah, she'll be like looking like she's daydreaming. I'll go, oh, what are you thinking? Because in my mind, I'm like, I'm always thinking about stuff. But she just says nothing, and I'm like, I can't relate to not be thinking of anything.
I can.
But yeah, so I think that's been really beneficial for me over the years of just analysing what other businesses are doing that I'm buying from, or online stuff that I'm consuming.
It's so interesting when you're actually a bit more experienced or a bit more intelligent or along in your journey a bit.
Well, we haven't experienced that yet.
No, I'm talking about you. And you look in reflection the reasons why things happened, and it all kind of fits into place, doesn't it?
Yeah. It is. Yeah, so that's, for me, that's a weird non-traditional way that I feel I've learned.
I also think, like, I was thinking of the answer to this for you. Why are you doing a good job of running a business now? I think there's, in your previous job roles, like, we spoke about this in previous, the hugely pressured thing of you running a summer centre language school where you basically imploded. You would have learnt like skills there. Your last job, you were doing, even just small elements of it, like hiring 150 people a year.
Yeah.
You're now heading up hiring for our business. Obviously, those 150 people a year, hiring them for 3 years, has shaped your skills.
Yeah.
Not just randomly good at stuff. I think you've learned.
You're right. That was me because that answer is basically like
It's
it's all come internally. Like I'm just thinking about stuff.
Like
and
you're a
suddenly
genius and you're not.
Which clearly it's not. It's that you're right. There are those experiences along the way, and working for previous employers and seeing a lot of things that they were doing badly. From an employee point of view, looking around again because I'm analytical, looking around me, thinking the decision that boss is making is making their business run so much worse, and I can see around me the effect it has on the employees, and so I guess experiencing things that weren't right and thinking if I was going to run a business, how would I make that better?
So interesting, because if you were to like ask our parents and look at both of us, they probably wouldn't know what we're going to do, but they would have never said you would be doing this.
No, they would definitely with the two boys, Dan and Lloyd, lovely little boys. Lloyd
daydreams a lot.
He daydreams a lot, stares out the window, and doesn't really get good. Can't talk. Should have focused at school, but yeah. Hopefully he'll be all right. Don't know what he's gonna do, but yeah. He's happy. Whereas you, it was much more. I think you've always been very driven and motivated. If you want something, you work for it and you get it. Whereas if I want something, I look out the window and think, hopefully I'll get that.
That is not true now. But
no, it's not true now. But when we were younger, so I don't think they ever had concerns about you.
Go on.
Sorry, I was going to say, you're from what you're doing in business now and what you've done over the last few years, I'm really interested to hear how you think you've learned and kind of the sources of information. So you went to university to study
business management and marketing.
So that sounds like a traditional route to run your own business, a marketing agency. You did business studies at school, but also there's loads of other ways I know you've learned stuff. So what do you think you did and didn't learn from?
So I'd say, like business studies at secondary school, sixth form, I learned a bit about sort of how business works and that kind of thing. I remember,
I suppose, the basics of just
like the basics of what are limited companies and stuff, even though I probably didn't remember that a few years later because I was half listening. But I learned the basics. I did actually have a really good business teacher, Miss Diffley, who I've since gone into the school, and she's still there, and I've done a talk and stuff. And I definitely learned basic business stuff, like what is a business, how does it work.
Do they have like a plaque on the wall of you in the business
just
studies?
a photo of me, star student.
Dan Knowlton, incredibly successful entrepreneur. Yeah.
No, they don't quite have that. But then when I went to uni, first year I did muck around a lot and didn't listen and didn't go to lectures and stuff. But I do remember learning some stuff, but it was a lot of theory, like, this guy said this thing about marketing once. And I just remember revising for my final year, especially where I actually did well. I remember just learning all of these things that certain marketers have said about marketing and business, and I had to remember all of that and use that to answer questions. And yes, I learned about like models, like Porter's 5 Forces, SWOT analysis, and those kind of things. I think even I'm doing a strategy day next week where I'm going to be using those, and I learned originally about them there. But all of the other stuff, like most of what I've learned by. Like I remember when I came out of uni and started helping Dad with marketing, just reading articles. I remember an article from a guy called Matthew Barbie, who's now the head of growth at HubSpot. And he did an article like how to grow a following on social media, like a really 10,000 word article. It's like, do this. I did all that stuff to my own Twitter account and started to grow it. And that was my first kind of thing of, oh wow, you can actually just read something for free.
Like free education that can really.
And I did, and I was like, wow. And then I learned from him, thinking, oh, he's learned something and shared it. Then I created content to say, look at this thing I did. I did this thing and it grew my audience.
Yeah.
And then the next stage of learning by doing. The next stage was discovering Gary Vee and books and stuff. So Gary Vee, original principle of jab, 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 right hook, give, ask. The whole theory of providing value rather than just trying to sell something to someone. That I think shaped a lot of our marketing and our business growth from there.
Something I was thinking then, because I agree with you. There's certain books that we've read over the years that have had a huge impact on the way we've done things and really improved the business. I was when you were talking then, I was thinking we need to look at ourselves, and I think maybe me and you should have some kind of goal of reading an amount of books, because if you think we've learned that agency nomics book that we spoke about.
People are getting sick of that now. I think
but we've learned so much from that, and I'm thinking, why don't we just both say we're going to read this many books each?
Yeah.
Because another side of that is I've realised recently in my learning So I've spoken to a couple of people I really respect in business that have achieved certain things that I want our business to achieve.
And they all read a lot.
And no, this isn't about the read. They probably do, but actually, just speaking to them and learning from them has been hugely valuable. So, for example, I had a phone call with Luke Quilter from Sleeping Giant Media, a marketing agency local to us in Kent, mainly focused on search and pay-per-click stuff, if you need that, in Folkestone. But they have, I'm not sure how many employees, over 50.
I think so, yeah.
Don't know where between
Much
50 and 100 it will be. But it was great. I really picked his brain. He's a really nice guy, and he was quite happy to talk to me about stuff. And that conversation has been hugely valuable. I'm thinking I would like to focus.
You should proactively. What could you do to do more of that?
Speaking to more people that I respect and saying, "Can I have a?"
Oh, you're not going to turn into that guy that just picks everyone's brains. You know, you get a message on social media. Can I just pick your brain for an hour and a half?
No, but I want to actually build relationships with people that I respect. So and
People's
hopefully I can help other people. Pardon?
People's brains you want to pick.
Yeah. No, but maybe it is a selfish thing, but I think that's been a huge way for me to educate myself in business. There's been 2 or 3 times throughout our business where I've spoken to someone and they've really taught me really valuable lessons that I've then implemented in our business. Yeah. So I think that's something I need to do more of.
Yeah. I just look back now and I wish starting this business, I wish I invested more time in personal development and like reading books, going to meet people at random, like network. Like at uni, I remember there was constant things going on. Oh, we're doing like a business networking thing, first year of uni, so you can meet other people in the business thing. We were just like, why on earth would you do something extra at uni?
I could go to Nando's, or I could. Is there peri peri chicken at the networking event? No. So
I just wish you don't want to wish your life away, but I just feel like I would have progressed and I'd be such a more intelligent, more rounded person if I would have.
But there's always going to be those things in hindsight, isn't there? And I think, I guess for listeners of the podcast that are in their very early stages of business in education,
learn more.
Yeah, please learn from us. Learn these things and don't go to Nando's. Go to that networking event at uni.
In hindsight, is there anything in hindsight that you look at that you think... I don't know, you're not that kind of person though. You don't really... I don't think you'd look back and change anything.
I don't like it when people go, "Oh, no regrets. I don't have any regrets." And like, well, I do, because I've basically... I think learning is just constantly making mistakes, and then... Yeah. So my regrets are constant. Like, I regret that I ate a sandwich yesterday that gave me indigestion. I'm not going to get no regrets. Love indigestion. But so there's too many things to think about that I would have changed. But again, there's no point looking back and going, well, I should have done that. Yeah. Like, I can look back and go, it would have been better if I made that decision. But I'm still positive about, I didn't, and now I'm going to move forward.
So if you were actually going to give someone some practical advice, at some point I'm thinking, I like business. At some point I want to start a business. How would I learn? What would your advice be? How should they do a look online and do a course on how to run a business?
No.
Why not? But that seems like a logical...
No. So there's probably brilliant courses out there, guys. So by the way, I'm saying no, but that could be a valid way of doing things and gaining some basic knowledge. But the one piece of advice I 100% would give people if you want to run a business is find a business with less than 10 employees that's as similar to the kind of thing you think you want to do as you can, and just get in there any way you can. Like, make the tea for 6 months to just get in there as their 5th employee or like as an intern or something. And just because I think being in a business like that, and like ours at the moment, where there's so much going on and everyone's roles, you have to do so many different things because we're not a big business. There's so much you can learn because we're constantly learning. So if you're at this small business stage and you can be around that, you can just learn everything that the people running the business can learn.
So you're saying there's no value in doing any kind of course or anything?
No, Daniel. I'm not saying that. I'll call you Daniel then.
But okay, if you don't think that, why have we never paid experts or consultants to help us.
Do you know what this was?
And would we not be further than we are today? Because I think
when I was making notes for this podcast, Dan, that was actually a question I had.
A question I had for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure, because we quite regularly do kind of could use a better phrase, but I'm not educated enough. We shit on kind of paid courses to teach you in how to run a business or improve your business and stuff, which is strange because we have a lot of friends in the marketing community and stuff that actually sell courses to teach people and stuff, or communities where they sell products to teach.
And we do training.
Yeah, we
do a power hour, which is you class as sort of training.
I guess, I'm not sure at the moment. I'm thinking, because there's definitely potential that we go too far that way, and there are courses that we and other people could really learn from.
And I think what our version of it is, and we are going to be doing, is in our network, people who we know more than us, is we are going to be paying, like I'm already thinking of a couple of examples, paying people to give us more training into to help, rather than us trying to learn it.
Do you know what I think has been an issue for us not paying
experts
for courses and experts to learn from? I think we've experienced and seen from afar a lot of people who say they're experts, and then we find out that they're not. And they're I was going to say ripping people off. Some it's not that to that extent, but they're not offering as much value as they're saying they are. And I think seeing that negative side of it, of people paying for courses to people that have never done the stuff they're teaching themselves, that don't necessarily have the experience, I think it has really put us off. Because we've seen that from behind the curtain.
We're very cynical. Yeah. Even if we need help with a certain area and we're thinking about someone helping us, but there's so many people that look, and I'm sure we've in the past looked even like we do better stuff than we actually do, because that's the whole... Everyone wants to look.
That's why we started this podcast, to make you realise how rubbish we are.
Yeah, we've done all right, Lloyd. But
no, we're. I'm joking, by the way, guys.
But no, yeah, it's just I think you're right. That has, but I do think that we could be paying people that are more clever than us to help us progress quicker. I just do. But I think we need to get
over that. So I completely think our advice of don't just buy loads of courses to help you grow your business, because there are loads of rubbish courses out there. So I still stand by that. Don't just think I can pay for courses and I'll be the best business person ever. But don't go as far as us, I think. And that's what we need to learn, that there are some brilliant courses that you can pay for and learn stuff.
Yeah.
But just my advice to people would be really be careful. Spend and not just a couple of hours. If you find a course you think you want to do, spend the next month learning about the person or the business delivering that training. Just make sure that,
you do the
there's someone that you want to learn from.
Do you know what I think's something else, like an even better approach that I'm on reflection? I think if you're someone saying to me or anyone, I want to learn about how to run a business and that kind of thing, I think doing something, like starting something, even if it's to do with a passion or that something like where you're selling something, even if you know it's not, you really know it's not going to take off and you're not doing it to earn money, just learning, like if you're into cricket, think of a little thing where you can start to sell some cricket bats or something and start to learn how would you go about doing that, and then actually do it. Learn how to build a website.
Start these little charity cricket events and how to promote it.
Then, like we said earlier about getting a job, for you to progress further, you probably need to go up the ladder in terms of working before you can really quit that and actually start your actual business. You having those experiences of starting that cricket bat selling business is going to put you in a much better position to say to Lloyd, who's hiring you, what have you done in the past? Oh, actually, I'm interested in cricket and I started this little cricket bat thing. Even if you haven't made loads of money, just by doing that, you're showing that you've actually got a bit of initiative and you've got something about you.
And not even to try and get hired, but actually just knowing that you're going to learn loads from it. Because I definitely think if you haven't got big financial commitments, so normally these people might be a bit younger and just out of education, but sometimes not. You've got time and space to fail a lot of times before you need something to really work well. So I would say just try as much stuff as you can and be open to fail. Like, I'm into cricket and I'm making this little grip for a cricket bat, and you could work on that for 6 months and then go, I've realised Amazon do one for 3p, and I'm not. But you will learn so much in that process that it's a really valuable thing to do. And then the next week you go, I'm selling. I'm going to do this charity cricket event, and then you realise there's coronavirus and it's going to be a failure. And then
it just reminded me of when we thought we'd invented smart light bulbs, and then we put all these hours in. And then we realised that we just made a more expensive, shitter version of a Philips Hue.
We had someone in China scouting out manufacturers to make these light bulb systems. Yeah, got to the end of... So, guys, right, we need to work out if we're going to go ahead with this. Right, got Philips Hue here. Okay, cheaper.
Smaller, better, faster, brighter.
Better, already in B&Q and not Amazon. Everywhere you could possibly want it. R1, okay. Twice the price.
Twice the size.
Not as good. Huge financial risk to us to invest in.
I've got a good supply chain to make it work.
Yeah, so surprisingly, we didn't go ahead with that. But again, we learned from that thing. Like, I think those kind of things of like, before we invested loads of time, next time in a business idea, which we will and we do, it will be looking at, okay, what's the competition?
Yeah.
Is there even a chance that we're going to be able... Do we have skills or something valuable to make a better product?
We do more research, like when we're going to make a board game, and we bought loads of board games.
Yeah. I still think... I want to make a board game one day. I think there's so...
Would it be look cool, like Lloyd's board game?
Yeah, great marketing. Yeah. I've been thinking for a while, and that's the name I've come up with.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. Creative.
Good. So... while we're here... Don't forget, huge opportunity. You could have your face on the Business Anchors screen behind us during this podcast for tens of people to see on YouTube. So
I'll be surprised if anyone does this.
Leave us a review with the words "my face."
It will be funny if someone does this though and their face is there. It'll be quite funny.
Yeah.
Well, look, it's Janet.
Yeah. I feel we might have another review from Adam Barry coming.
Yeah. yeah.
No, but yeah. So leave us a review. But seriously, leave us a review if you do like this, because it really helps us, guys. If you don't like it, then fair enough. If you don't leave a review and take the time to do that. But I'd also kind of analyse how you're using your time. If you're still listening to this and you don't like it, terrible decision.
Yeah.
Right, moving on to education tips and education fails. Do you think there's anything like getting to a point in your business life, Dan, where you've tried to educate yourself or learn something and you've completely failed and thought that was a terrible way of doing things?
Well, I just think on reflection, I think my uni degree was a terrible fail because I worked really hard, got a first. Don't know if you heard I got a first. And just have never used it and never will use it. So I think that's one of my biggest fails.
But you say you never use it, so... someone might, a big client in the future might do their due diligence and be going, oh, so you founders of your company, what experience do you have? And you can say, oh, I've got a first in business, and that might.
I just think I will never say that because I don't value that as something that would help sell something.
Be like me saying, I've got great references for my paper round.
It would just make it worse.
Not quite as bad as that. But,
so that's probably one of my biggest fails. I'll try and think of some more. What about you? What have you got any fails where you've...
Well,
as in fails of like you've tried to learn something and then... Yeah. A guitar, I think I've told myself I'm going to learn that. You did that as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then didn't you do it once and then...
Yeah. No, I learned how to play Tears in Heaven by...
Oh, really?
I've forgotten.
I just thought of one. I learned how to play the trombone for a bit. Do you remember that? And I could play God Save the Queen. And I played for it.
It was very loud. I do remember. Yeah.
Sorry, I just remembered that.
I just remembered you play the trombone. I've got to tell the world I played the trombone.
I played the trombone. Can we make the thumbnail like me with a trombone? I played the trombone. That's not that interesting, is it?
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Go on, come on. What have you got?
What, like tips? Fails for learning?
Or tips or fails?
One of my biggest tips that we haven't spoken about yet is I've realised that basically you can learn anything you want on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
You can have no money and just be like, I want to be a...
Video editor.
And YouTube, there are thousands and thousands of... And I think this is not even for someone that isn't a video editor currently. You can just improve your skills every single day by watching a new tutorial,
How amazing is the internet?
Yeah.
It's just really mental how, like, that's... You can learn anything you want, pretty much.
Previously, so say you wanted to be a video editor, you would. So there's different options. You'd have to go right. So say you're at night, 10 p.m. You're thinking, I'd really love to learn some stuff about video editing. You'd have to think, I'll have to get the bus to the library, see if there's any books on video editing. What time should I get the bus? I'll have to walk to the bus stop and check when the bus is there. And because you can't, do you get it? You know, can't go into check the bus. Yeah. And then you don't actually even know if there's any books on video editing at the library.
Yeah.
So you can go there. You can take a couple out. You have to look through all that. They'll have like little marks of like coffee and other people's lunch that have read them over years.
You could go there and use the computers and go on dinosaur websites like you did when computers first came out in 1990 something. Do you remember that?
We're talking about when internet wasn't a thing, Dan.
Oh, okay. So
yeah. I
loved
the Walking with Dinosaurs website in my local library.
Sorry.
But I just think, like, or it's like, okay, I've got to learn this. I need some hands-on experience. I can't afford a camera.
Literally, if you're listening or watching this, you have no excuse to not progress and get better as a human being at your life and career. You know, if you want to become a better human being, I'm sure there's tutorials on YouTube to be a nicer person, to get more people to like you.
Obviously, I've done all of them. Don't
watch the ones Lloyd's watched. But like you're so right. Like, okay, I've got a question for you. What are you going to teach yourself in the next few years, do you think? Or what do you think is there anything that you're thinking, I might learn the guitar?
That's a good question. So I think...
gardening's one, sorry.
Yeah, so saying, you can learn anything. Yesterday I watched a video about how to care for cucumber plants to get the biggest yield. But that is funny though, isn't it? Like, I just wanted to learn that. Yeah. So in, I think, 3.5 minutes, I learned how to do that.
I learned about trimming tomato plants. The stalks at the bottom. And my mate messaged me.
There's things like that. But actually, with YouTube and online learning and stuff, I currently am and want to in the future learn much more about kind of self-sustainability and not relying on lots of energy and carbon and stuff around you. So like growing your own veg and being better for the planet. Like my food waste is currently making compost rather than like throwing it onto landfill. And so there's stuff like that that I really want to learn more about.
Do you know what I feel like I want to learn more about? Property. I spoke about my friend Leandro. He's really into property and he's got these developments going on. And I know very little. You know more than me because you're getting an extension and stuff and you've looked a lot into it. But I just think over the next few years...
Property expert over here. Got planning permission for an extension. So
no, but...
So if you want a course, £1,000.
Over the next few years, I think our plan is to be investing profits of the business into property. And I think it will be so valuable just...
And to do that sensibly, we have to learn more, don't we?
Yeah. So... And also I'm thinking of moving house and I want to learn more about good investments and things. I think we're just not that clued up. I'm not. You're a bit more because you once got an extension.
Property investor over here.
Yeah. Is there anything else you're going to be learning or?
Yeah, there definitely is. But I do you not? It'd be interesting to hear how you. I'd say I go on YouTube once a day to learn something. But it's like really weird things like the plugs. It's the sink's blocked, and then there's a plumber go, "You got a plugged sink. This is what you do this thing."
Yeah. I think you do. You go,
it's not very inspirational to talk on a podcast, is it? Like learning those, but that is. I do feel YouTube is so good with that. You just can learn so many life skills, and some of it's not like, I dreamt of unclogging a sink, and now I've learned how to. But it's like kind of practical as well as learning the bigger things of one day. Because I'd like to, in the future, do a lot more good by either running a charity or knowing how to impact charity causes more than I currently do, without just giving money. Because I don't
you could have more value than
money
that.
To just And so over the last few years, I've constantly learning a bit more about that. But I think that's something, that's more aspirational. Of like, there's this big area of how charities work and the issues in the world and how they can be solved. And that's kind of a bigger thing that I've been learning about and want to continue.
Another random interesting thing I think I spent a chunk of time learning about was how to be a parent. Do you remember when you gave me that really good... What was that book? We must link that book somewhere.
Commando Dad.
Yeah.
It's written in a really weird style.
It's like an army guy that's... right, and that was so helpful to me. But it's just interesting constantly learning... Like, how do you
obviously that
change what they're
was that in
eating?
your section of fails? Like,
Yeah.
just learn to be a dad.
Wee.
You're a good dad, really.
Thanks, Lloyd.
That's all right. Am I a good dad?
No.
Oh.
No, you are.
I'm going to ask Leo later.
Cool. What else? Anything else interesting you got to share about
Education.
Yeah.
No.
At least we've got past the phase of podcasting where I say something all right and Lloyd goes, yeah. Do you remember that episode? What episode is that?
I remember.
Go back and listen to it where I'd be itching for Lloyd to add to the conversation and he just would make a grumbling yes noise.
Yeah. Cool.
I feel like I'm enjoying this a lot more.
Yeah.
I hope people enjoy listening to it.
Yeah.
It's quite nice to just...
Yeah.
It feels less of a structured thing of like, oh, we got to talk
Yeah,
about this. It's more of an open, fun conversation.
I was thinking about this over the last week, actually. So this is to listeners and to Dan and to Lauren behind the camera. I'd really like to learn and improve this podcast in the next few weeks and kind of take it almost to like the beta level. So we've done this for a while now and I want to really improve it. So if you are a listener to the podcast, I would really genuinely appreciate like a direct message to me or Dan or anything, or in the comments, anything. Any like critical feedback, so things you think, oh, I really enjoy the podcast, apart from this,
because we probably do a load of shit things, like ramble on about silly things for too long. And
please be as honest as you can, because that's how we learn. And you won't offend us because we're asking for this. But yeah, and anything that you think, oh, this would be a great idea, and if you spoke about this or did this or you interviewed this person or really love to hear. I know we always ask for reviews because that helps us get out to more people, but genuinely, if you could let us know how we're doing and if you've got any suggestions, we'd love to hear that too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So thanks, guys. In advance for telling us why we're good and why we're rubbish. And if you want to just DM me and kind of say like, oh, Lloyd, you're really good, but Dan, let's side down a bit. It's fine. I'll kind of break it to him.
Thanks. What about this incredible opportunity that the listeners have got, Lloyd?
Oh, you've been listening to the Radio DJ voice. Yeah, so I feel like we've done this enough. But if you want your face on the screen behind Dan and Lloyd, co-hosts of the Business Anchors podcast, all you've got to do is review the podcast, including the words "my face," to see your face on the screen behind us. Tens of people will experience your face, all from writing "my face" in your review.
And don't we guarantee you to get a job. Terms and conditions, we don't guarantee you to get a job.
Dan, stop saying things like that. The legal team. Your terms and conditions apply. We do not guarantee you a job. This was all said to be funny and just, stuff. Right. Thanks for listening, guys. Oh. And this podcast can be so much better next episode because you're all going to tell us how to make it better.
Yeah.
Cool.
See you then.
Can you tell us how to end it well?
We're just a couple
of business anchors. Welcome to the Business Anchors podcast. This jingle is slightly too long. This jingle is slightly too long. Okay.
Have we ended it yet?
No, yes, we've ended it.